Hello, and I'm going to start by saying Happy New Year, but I'm going to talk more about that in the video. I'm going to, I can never figure out, oh yeah, here it is. I'm going to flip the camera so I can show you where I am. I'm in Southern California. I am out for a hike. I'm not going to go all the way around. I'm coming back. So in the hills, everything's quite green here at this time of year. I don't know if this is typical, but there's been quite a bit of rain. So, and that's the town of, I'm not even sure, I think it's San Elijo. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My Massachusetts mouth doesn't know how to pronounce these names out here. Anyway, just wanted to pop on, give you all an update, and yeah, just connect here in the new year. It's 2022. Holy moly. Yeah, so those questions I just posted in the comments, you know, now I can't remember what they are. Anyway, I know the last one was what to wish people, like Happy New Year doesn't quite sound right. Hey, Leanne, how are you? Happy New Year, honey. Yeah, here I am saying Happy New Year. The reason that it just feels like old patterning, right? Like, hey, Happy New Year, but it doesn't really acknowledge the reality of what, seeing a few more people come on, of the reality of like what life is like, right? It's so different. I don't know if this is your experience, but I mean, for me, obviously it's totally different because I'm living out of my car and don't have my job and all of that stuff. So everything that's familiar is not here with me. So, you know, I'm here at it's a retreat center. It's a spiritual retreat center. And I've been here for a week and a half now. I'm sort of doing like a personal retreat, but it's actually also living. A lot of people come here and do just very like inward personal retreats. But since I'm here for so long and since it's kind of my residence right now, it's a little different for me. It's kind of a working retreat. But you know, it's been really interesting because I've been here by myself over the holidays, right? And I would have thought like that's a really sad thing. And don't get me wrong, I've had moments of sadness, you know, but I also know that this is exactly what I've been needing to do, you know, since I left Massachusetts, and it's been such a journey. So that was one of my questions in my description here is what is this journey really about, and that a possible name change for this page is coming. You know, this is my business page, right? Like when I left Massachusetts, I had a bodywork practice, right, that I had for like 13 years. And so I closed that down, obviously, because I moved. Hey, Margaret. And I heard myself using the language that I had closed my business, but I know that that's not true. Like my business is still open. It's just been kind of dormant because as I've been traveling, I've been trying to feel into like what's next for me. And when I first left Massachusetts, I thought what I was going to do was relocate. So find where I was feeling drawn out, quote, out west, and then move there and set up residence there and set up a business there, which would have looked similar to what I had been doing, right? It was the known. So that's what I thought I was doing. But the more I'm out here traveling, it's like the questions are changing. And I know in my last live that I did a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, I talked about the questions, right? They're like, what do I want? What do I really want? And the more I'm out here, like this whole concept of a nomadic lifestyle has come in. So I don't know. So like this whole plan of going on this journey, implying that there was an end point, which would look like settling down somewhere and starting a business in person. I'm not so sure that that's what this is about. So that's the question. That's a question that I'm currently sort of living with, which opens up a lot of possibilities that are completely unknowns, right? So there's that. So the other question that I posted in there is this inner child work piece. Hey, Lynn's here. Because this is something that's been very alive for me. You know, I shared in a video a little back some of my history and how my journey has been so much about personal healing from severe trauma as a kid, right? And that's been my professional work and my personal work. And so it's kind of intense, as you could imagine. So I think I'm having to own that I'm kind of an intense person, maybe. But what can happen is, like my method of healing has very much been like inner child work, both personally but also professionally. Hey, Julie. So my theory of healing is that, in a nutshell, a lot of chronic issues like physical, even emotional, any kinds of chronic issues oftentimes are stuff that's held in the body, issues in the tissues, right? And so healing is about discovering what those issues are that are being held. And generally speaking, they're from childhood, but they can be from adulthood too. And it's using the body as a vehicle to get in touch with that suppressed stuff, suppressed emotions. In my case, it was suppressed memories and emotions, but the memories, that's not always the case. But it's stuff that's suppressed. We suppressed it because at the time it was overwhelming. We couldn't experience it at the time and release it and work through it. So brilliant mechanism of our body to be able to store it and hold it, but it has ramifications, right? So my philosophy of healing is you go into those things and trust it, and by breathing into it and allowing the feelings to move, you go through it. There's a saying, the only way out is through, right? And that's, to me, has been very much true. But, as I've been doing this healing over the past 3 years, this really, recovering these memories and just the intensity of it, I've hit on a pattern that I seem to keep going into and not being able to get through. And it's just creating really intense pain for me, and it's like intellectually I get it and I'm able to do the work. It's like with inner child work, basically what you're doing is you're going in and you as the adult, the empowered adult with lots of resources, are able to provide for your inner child, for your young self, what they didn't have then, right? And then it's actually healing. It's like that inner child energy still exists in you. So your 8-year-old self, there's a consciousness of that still in your body. But for some reason, this one that I've hit on, that's like a super core one, I just keep on going into it, and it's really, really painful, as you would expect. And I can't seem to get to the bottom of it and through it. And so last night I was really in it, and so I just started asking myself, like, is there a point where, and I know that this is some of the guidance that I get, is like, you also can intentionally create your state in the moment by choosing. And this is where it gets tricky, because I think what a lot of people do with this is what's called like spiritual bypassing or self-gaslighting, where you can say, so the guidance is you can choose a higher state. So you can choose a better feeling state in any moment, right? But what a lot of people do with that, and it comes in all different messages, is denial and self-gaslighting and, pushing down what's there rather than acknowledging it. Oh, hey, Barbara. But then this question comes up for me is like, when is it indulgent? When is it indulging the emotion? And it's not moving anywhere, so it's a fine balance, because one of the things I've been trying to practice is when I'm really in it, like, and especially if it's going on and on for like days, is like, all right, so in this moment, what can I do to choose to feel just a bit better? Not to deny these feelings, but just to like, what can I do that will help me just take a step up in emotional state, So I don't know if any of you watching this have any thoughts about this, of like, when does it become self-indulgent and when is it really just still doing the process, right? It's hard to know. So that's one of the questions I have. So I'll end with that question of Happy New Year, like saying, what do we say to each other? What do I want to say to you? Happy New Year. Yes, I wish happiness for sure for everybody, always. And I also know that's not what life is, right? And so to always be, again, this is the bypassing. Same question. Interesting. I didn't really realize that. By saying Happy New Year, is it bypassing all the challenge? Because it is a challenging time, right? So I guess what I would wish for you for New Year, for 2022, is self-love, self-compassion, allowing yourself to feel the feelings that are coming up. Don't push it aside. Get support. It's a huge opportunity for healing. And that's what we need collectively. There's so much ugliness out there and so much divisiveness and so much yelling and pointing, finger pointing and blaming. And so what I wish for you is to not be a force of that. And if you encounter that, to meet it with softness, compassion, understanding. We're all doing the best we know how to do here, and it's intense. So that's what I wish for you, is self-loving New Year. And whatever steps you can take towards that. Yeah. All right, that's it for now. I'm going to be here for another week and a half or so, and then I don't know where I'm going next. That's what this journey is about, is I don't know what the next thing is until I know what the next thing is. So I'll come back when I have something else to say. In the meantime, sending you all so much love. Bye.